to ask the Scottish Executive what progress has been made in taking forward transport projects under the Strategic Transport Projects Review.
Stuart Stevenson.
I have previously highlighted our priorities. Firstly, the fourth replacement crossing. The tendering process is underway and the bill will be brought to Parliament in November. Secondly, the Edinburgh-Glasgow Improvements Programme is being taken forward for delivery. The first phase of this programme, new hourly fast services between Glasgow and Edinburgh, are to be introduced to the December 2009 timetable. In addition, the planning application is to be lodged later this month for the new railway station at Goga. Finally, Network Rail are working hard on the development of our plans for the Highland Main Line and the Aberdeen to Inverness line. As planned, we are continuing to work with partners and stakeholders to take forward the development and design of the other 25 recommendations. Alongside planning for the future under SPTR, Transport Scotland continues to drive forward the current programme, which will see over £2.5 billion invested in Scotland's strategic transport networks over the 3 years, supporting the economy through efficient movement of goods and people.
I thank the Minister for his very detailed answer, which was as I expected. However, although the First Minister and the SNP Scottish Government made specific pledges to North East voters to dual the A96, the only project in Aberdeenshire contained in the STPR was the replacement of the Inverramsey Bridge at Pitcaple. Can the Minister tell me if he expects a time scale for this to be in place within the lifetime of this Parliament?
Minister.
Thank you. I think we're also, of course, proceeding with work on the A90 between Balmedy and Tipperty, the AWPR, a wide range of projects in the North East that are important. The Inverramsey Bridge is part of a policy position we took shortly after coming into office, that we would not wish to have on our rural trunk roads traffic lights that impede traffic. We have done some preliminary work on possible routes that would be associated with Inverramsey. We are continuing to make the progress that's necessary, looking to secure the funding for that and a range of other interventions in the next review period.
Shelley-Ann Somerville.
Some of the most expensive decisions that ministers will have to take while in government do relate to large-scale capital infrastructure projects, such as those included in the STPR. Can I therefore ask the Minister to explain how continuing with projects already projected to be dramatically over budget even before they begin, such as the Glasgow Airport rail link, would impact on delivering on other projects, including those in the STPR, and would he detail the impact that would have to continue with this project, which has grown from an initial estimate of a budget of £160 million in 2006 to an approximate £400 million to date?
Minister.
The Scotsman reported that the tramway system was a standing joke in the country. However, that was on the 16th of January 1929. So problems with Edinburgh's trams are not something with which we are entirely unfamiliar. However, that particular remark in the Scotsman was made as a precursor to celebrating the achievement of the tram manager Stuart Pilcher in rescuing Edinburgh from some disastrous decisions. I hope that Richard Jeffrey will do the same in Edinburgh. In relation to Garl, of course, which is one of the projects that we had to look at very, very carefully indeed, and conclude that in the present economic climate we could not proceed with. That is disappointing. It is always disappointing to have to withdraw a project from your programme, but when we are under the Labour Westminster government's cuts, it is an inevitable consequence of those cuts.
Point of order.
Shirley-Ann Somerville made a misleading remark in her question. She said that the Garl project was priced at of the order of £400 million. The Minister has actually clarified that position in a recent answer to my colleague Charlie Gordon. Could he perhaps respond to Ms Somerville, putting her right on the actual cost of the Garl project?
Mr McNulty has got his point on record. I think he knows well it's not a point of order. I'm going to take a supplementary from Malcolm Chisholm, and if the Minister wishes to respond in his answer, he can do so.
I know the Minister is a supporter of trams, so will he give full support to the City of Edinburgh Council in its difficult negotiations with Bullfinger to secure the lowest possible price for the tram project? And will he try to restrain his party colleagues on the Council and in this chamber whose wild speculations encourage that company to inflate its demands by the day?
Minister.
It may be as well, Presiding Officer, to remind members of the decision that was taken in this place at the end of June 2007, when only the 47 members of the SNP opposed continuing with the Edinburgh trams. Where we are today is an inevitable consequence of that particular decision. I do, of course, now wish the project every possible success, and I personally look forward to travelling on the first tram if that is possible and if I'm invited. And in relation to Garl pricing, it is, of course, as well to remember that we have only removed from our future plans the branch line to the airport. The other improvements to Paisley, which make up the bulk of the expenditure improvements from Glasgow Central to the west, remain in the programme, are being actively progressed and will deliver very significant benefits to people to the west of Glasgow.